Hello, my dear friends. I'm Michaela. Welcome to my astrology channel, Today Energy. This is a yearly general forecast for all of you born with ascendant and or sun and or moon in the sign of Sagittarius. So, lovely Sagittarius, let's see what the year ahead will bring to you. On a general global scale, this promises to be a rather dynamic year because we have 3 outer slower planets changing their signs through transits, as well as the karmic lunar nodes. So yeah, that implies some social shifts. But of course, we're interested to know whether these transits will affect you precisely next year. And for that matter, I hope you know well your natal charts, because in this video, I will be showing you the planets, their transits, but also I will be talking about specific degrees they cover and what does it mean for you. So if you still don't know the position and the degrees of your sun, moon, generally all the planets, but more so the personal planets, as well as important points in your chart like ascendant, descendant, IC, then you can go to any astrological website. I personally love the astroseek.com, or you can go to astro.com, and if you know your place, date, and time of birth, very importantly to the minute, then these websites will show you your natal chart and you will know what I'm talking about. Meanwhile, I will be sharing with you this transit chart somewhere from the beginning of 2023. I left here the slow planets, Mars and the North and South node. And this chart is built from a point of view of a Sagittarius, which means a Sagittarius rising, sun, or moon. Of course, we don't know your specific degrees, but according to the whole sign system, if one of these big 3 or all of them or 2 of them are in Sagittarius, then Sagittarius becomes your first house. Then the next sign in zodiacal order, which is Capricorn for you, becomes second house, and so on. We have 12 signs and we have 12 houses, and in your case, everything starts with you. Now, for my general forecasts on this YouTube channel, I do use the whole sign system. That's the logic exactly, 1 sign, 1 house. But in my personal consultations, I work with Placidus system, which is much more sensitive to your precise location and time of birth. And also I find it to be even more specific, more individual and personal, and hence can give more in-depth details about personality and about transits and forecasting. But let's dive in now into 2023, Sagis. So we have an important event on the 12th of January. After 2.5 months of uncomfortable, frustrating retrograde motion, the planet Mars finally turns direct again. Now on the 12th exactly, 2 days before and 2 days after, we might feel not so happy, but rather intense, agitated, nervous. Some people might behave more aggressively or hastily because Mars is stationary, barely moving as if on the sky from our earthly perspective. So it's like his energies are emphasized, and Mars can be about conflicts, about fights, and so on, being impatient. But immediately after the 12th, 13th, 14th of January, Mars starts gaining speed, gaining momentum, moving direct, so he can exhibit his best qualities, I believe, which is passion, which is enthusiasm, which is desire to achieve his goals, and courage to do so. Let's see what does Mars rule in your chart, so we can say what areas of life for you will unstuck once Mars goes direct. Well, we see that your 5th house falls into Aries, that is ruled by Mars. So we talk about passion in romantic relationships, about zest for life and having fun, about immense wave of creativity, inspiration, and about relationship with children or the possibility to have children. And of course, it's good transit. I mean, it's good that Mars goes direct, so you can develop with bravery, with courage, with passion and enthusiasm, your own creative projects and your hobbies and your business as well. Then we see that your 12th house falls into the sign of Scorpio. So everything connected with finishing, ending something, releasing, letting go from your life, like bad habits, like ill patterns of thinking and of behaving, like toxic relationships, like fears, traumas. All of this will go way faster and smoother after the 12th of January. Also, if you're dealing with online and remote work, secret projects, something you do rather in isolation, healing processes, emigration processes will as well move forward. And last but not least, we see that Mars does this maneuver in your 7th house in Gemini. Mars is here for extremely long time, since August 2022, for 7 months. He's meant to agitate and to insert with with passion your relationships, one-to-one relationships. So it goes well now. From now on, there is no stagnation in negotiations, in signing contracts, arranging some deals, working with clients, being popular, establishing and building personal and professional relationships now happens with much more passion and enthusiasm. Right. Then the next important transit is the one of Saturn. On the 8th of March, Saturn moves out of Aquarius, where he was for the last 3 years, and goes into Pisces. Now, first, what was doing Saturn in Aquarius until the 8th of March 2023? Well, he was organizing your thoughts, your plans, your thinking process, and your communication style, and also your local environment and people you meet on a daily basis in your life. Also, it's about your studies, travels, small or online business, trading, logistics, and your siblings, relatives, and neighbors. So first of all, Saturn is a very pragmatic planet, so he can give you very realistic way of thinking, very practical. I hope not so pessimistic, because also Saturn is not exactly the planet that sees the silver lining, but forewarned, forearmed. So now you know that if you have been a bit more on the negative side of thinking, a bit more self-doubting, doubting your intellectual skills, people whom you can trust in daily life, then it's just the cautious influence of Saturn. He inspires you to acquire some very practical skills. It's not about theories, it's not about art, it's more about do it yourself, make it tangible, show me some results, how can I use it for my development, even more so for my career, because Saturn is a very work and career oriented planet. If we talk about planning, then it must be long-term and very specific and practical. You have to build some strategy of how you will act, and you have to act step by step, 1 foot at a time, no rush. You see, Saturn is a marathon runner, not sprinter, so you don't have to rush. Here is good that 3rd house is the Gemini house of being curious, wanting to try several things, getting bored easily. But here Saturn brings discipline, self-discipline, good organization, patience, and focus. You will learn to be discerning and to choose the most important information, people, sources of knowledge, double checking them. You will organize your routine and daily life. And remember that repetition is the mother of knowledge. So even if you doubt your skills or knowledge, your studies, then just rehearse, repeat, write down several times, do lists, prioritize, be practical about your routine and schedule. And through repetition, you will master your skills, because Saturn wants people's approval and respect. He wants social status. So it's not just enough to study. You must become a teacher. It's not just enough to write down. Maybe you want to publish something, to become a journalist. It's not just enough to have your little online blog. No, Saturn would like you to become popular eventually, but with real focus and efforts. Let's also face the truth. Saturn oftentimes is heavy and restricting, so he might lower the possibilities to travel, restrict your communication. So he doesn't like chit chats, small talk, gossips. No, you will meet only with very serious people, which, by the way, might be older, might be a bit aloof, might be of higher social status. Such might be your neighbors, or your colleagues. Yeah, a bit like colder, demanding, discerning, but they can teach you as well good discipline. But for Saturn is more important the quality rather than the quantity. He hates to waste time. So be very careful with whom you spend your time, with whom you communicate every single day. Serious conversations, serious planning, create useful contacts and gain practical knowledge. Saturn in third house is good for self-made wealth and for small business. Maybe you will open a website, maybe you will open a physical shop in your neighborhood, an online or offline school, or some sort of logistic or trading business. And then Saturn goes into Pisces on the 8th of March, and for the whole 2023, he will reach only the 7th degree of Pisces, all right? So you will feel Saturnian transit through your 4th house the most this year if your point IC is from 0 to 7 degrees Pisces. This is the most sensitive point of our natal chart, talking about our inner emotional world and needs, our sense of foundations and security. And it talks a lot about our parents, family, home, place of living, and property. So Saturn will revise deeply your main sense of security and belonging. Where do you belong? Where do you want to settle? Do you want to settle? Do you want to put your roots down? Do you want to build your home, your own traditions? Which country is your motherland? What is your family? Saturn is a very traditional planet, so he might return you back home or remind you about your family and ancestors' inheritance and traditions. You might go back to live with your parents, especially if you have to take care of some of them, or about your home. You might even need to squeeze a bit now and buckle the belt. And by the way, live in some smaller apartment or colder apartment, especially now with all these crazy bills and so on, and the rise of the prices for utilities. But it must be for some higher meaning. You are waiting something to be finished. Maybe you are paying off your mortgage. Maybe you are taking care of family. Maybe you are having now a second child. So that's why until you build a new place, until you renovate the old one, you have to make some compromises, right? And maybe feel a bit more like restricted and a bit more claustrophobic, you know. Saturn in the fourth house can discipline your inner child and make you grow up, make you become more mature, more wise, make you become a parent. Maybe you're truly becoming physically a parent. Also, Saturn wants you in the fourth house to build some solid foundations. It might be physically, like my home is my castle, so you're building your four walls. Saturn is the builder, brick by brick, with a strong glue, with a strong mortar, right? So later, whatever happens, you'll have your safe haven, you will have your place of security physically. But also we might talk about emotional changes and changes of your inner world. So Saturn here makes you build your own backbone, your own strong core, your skeleton. You must become your own strongest support, and home is where you are, where you feel secure and safe. So you have to become like stronger, enduring. You see, the Saturnian cycle is 28, 30 years. So either now he finishes something he started in your fourth house 30 years ago, like maybe finding your sense of security, identity, home and foundation, inner core, or now maybe it's your first transit of Saturn through your fourth house. Maybe you're fairly young, and now suddenly you learn discipline, responsibility, hard work. Yeah, maybe you leave home to start living alone. So now it's about work and paying rent and living with roomies. Yeah, because every freedom comes with responsibility as well. And remember, you will be building yourself through the next 30 years. Then Saturn will test you again next time he will be in the same position, touching your IC. Also, you know that IC is part of an axis. It's linked to the point MC right across. So whenever Saturn touches your IC, he influences your career point as well, the point of your purpose in life, your mission in life, your role in the society, your status. So you might move because of work, or you might quit job because of family. Maybe you're going on maternity leave or on pension. Yeah, home and family and social status and mission in life are very much connected. In any case, Saturn is the karmic planet. So whatever now happens at home or in the profession, whether you gain or lose a job, or you get a higher position, or you open your own business, maybe it's a real estate business, it was meant to be so, right? Maybe you're even now paying off some karmic debts to your family. Some people believe that we as children are forever in debt for the mere fact that we are alive to our parents. I do believe that our souls choose in which family to be born. So we choose our parents in order to them to teach us something, and for us to teach them something too. It's so karmic, this parent-children relationship, this which country you are born into, right? Your ancestors. Maybe now you will be building your family tree, researching your origins, researching your homeland traditions, and so on. Maybe you will like them, maybe not. By the way, you have the free will to establish your own home with your own rules. Maybe now Saturn will infuse you with this feeling of insecurity, of guilt, of shame, but you have to stay true to yourself. And if you don't resonate with your old school family patterns and programming from home, now you can kind of go through it, reassess it. Saturn is the teacher. Saturn is like making you dig deep inside of your own core and psyche here, and you might find out that you don't agree with the principles you were taught as a child or what you have to aspire to. Maybe you don't want a family, but you want a career. Maybe you don't want a career as a lawyer, but you want to become a mom of 3 kids and you want to live actually abroad, or you don't want to move away from even from your neighborhood. So this is a process of learning about yourself more. What can make you feel secure, stable, safe, and happy? And achieve it, build it, become it. But yeah, back to this theory, I believe that what we owe to our parents, we must work it, or kind of give back the karma or burn the karma through becoming parents to our own children. So it's not of course we must respect our parents after this process of separation. No matter your age, you still have to pass through the process of separation. It's not just physically going away from your parents and home, but it's realizing that you are a separate individual with your own needs and life and world, that your parents are not responsible for anything. They don't owe you anything. They're not guilty about anything. They just act as other adults we meet in our lives in the best possible way for themselves as much as they can. So once we understand this, we can let go of grudges, of traumas, of fears. We can become ourselves and already decide whether we want to become parents, and this is the circle of life, right? Then we raise our own children, we meet the same attitudes and obstacles and so on, but we already act as a individual with our own principles, experiences, and lessons. So with this transit of Saturn in the 4th, you can move house, you can do serious repairs, take a mortgage, become a parent, take care of your parents, become your own boss, anything like that. It's a very, very important, I believe, transit. It's excellent to build your own boundaries, especially with the family members. Yes, you might feel a bit more isolated, a bit more restricted, some heavy burden on your shoulders. You might work through your old memories, feel a bit more nostalgic, but exactly, you must choose the right for you family patterns and programs. And then, mind you, Saturn in the 4th house in Pisces will eventually square your sun, moon, or rising sign in 2023. He will do so only if they are located in the first 7 degrees of Sagittarius. So, for instance, Saturn square ascendant-descendant line can somehow introduce some aloofness or block some of your relationships or contacts. He might eliminate just the passers-by, just everything superficial, because he hates wasting time, life force and time. So only the most loyal, serious people will stay in your life. Maybe you will become much more picky, wise, discerning, and serious about relationships, and professional business also must be done only with reliable people. You must rely on them. Maybe you will outgrow some relationship, or maybe you will just be less time together because each of you will be focused on some duties to family or to work, to career, or traveling somewhere for education, right? So it might be a long distance relationship. But remember, Saturn destroys everything that is not solid enough and solidifies for many, many years everything that is meant to be serious and supportive in our lives. Again, excellent time to build your boundaries, to stop being a people pleaser or go with the flow with others, whatever they want. You might meet some more critical people, criticizing, sermoning people who are of higher social status or are older or more grumpy, more rigid, more strict, more disciplined. but we are learning through others, right? So maybe these people will teach you and help you achieve maturity, separation process, and higher social status. Those might be psychologists, consultants, clients, business partners, personal partners, which can be a bit more paternalistic even, and so on. Then if Saturn squares your moon, this can be a bit more nostalgic, lonely time. It's a good time for introspection, for researches. You might feel like the hermit from the tarot card. You're looking for meaning, for knowledge in life. Maybe you are preparing to publish something, to graduate. That's why you're just more busy with isolated research. Or you are going through family history, right? Helping parents, becoming a parent. So your routine changes, your lifestyle changes. You feel a bit more burdened and restricted. You live in a smaller apartment, let's say, something like that. You might feel like there is lack of support, protection, and understanding. Maybe, well, don't allow the feelings of guilt, of shame, of depression to cripple in you. Learn to remain composed, to remain self-disciplined, and kind of become your own support. Learn that you don't need to rely on others and depend on others to feel complete personality and to feel happy. You might even lose some weight, by the way, with such transit of Saturn squaring ascendant or moon, even of sun. It's about maybe more strict diet or exercises, but don't be too self-critical, okay? Don't blame yourself. It's important to be just practical and reasonable and mature. If Saturn squares your sun, you might feel with less energy, less confidence, more restricted by some rules, by some duties, less vital. But Saturn as well teaches you with this, even though a bit more uncomfortable and hard transit, but you still learn some having patience, being having perseverance. Maybe a bit more ascetic and more thrifty, rigid, but also more realistic, more humble, discern what is the basic and the most important you need. Life is not about wasting and luxury, but sometimes it's just about focusing on the real deal, really, like home and family, paying the mortgage, or working with clients, having this less but more faithful supporters, let's say, and put yourself more realistic and practical goals. Then also we notice that Neptune is in your 4th house. In 2023, Neptune will cover the distance between 22 degrees Pisces and 27 Pisces. Also, I must say that if your sun, moon, or rising sign are between 22 and 27 Sagittarius, then Neptune will be squaring them. Well, Neptune is even slower and even more interesting planet than Saturn, like more subtle influence, but very deep. I think I would prefer Saturnian influence, but it's very personal, really. It depends on your natal chart, your own character and inner wiring, I would say. But Neptune can give a lot of confusion and illusions about your needs emotionally, about where is my home. He can dissolve this feeling of inner support and foundations, and you might be happy with it. You might feel like a free soul, like a nomad, like a hippie. You might work on a cruise ship and travel the world constantly. But also Neptune can help you reach your ideal home, or at least you are constantly dreaming of your ideal home, and it might be really just a fantasy. Or it might be that you find something near a big body of water, like an ocean or a sea, or at least a river and a lake. By the way, good cheating a bit on this transit to avoid the harsher realities of it. You might just build Well, some of you might want to build a swimming pool, but some of you just might acquire some little aquarium for home, little aquarium with fishes. It calms down the nerves, when you observe them. So this might be how this transit plays out, especially if your IC point is between 22 and 27 Pisces. On the other hand, you might take care of someone ill in your family. Or there might be this Karpman triangle game. So you, your parents, your family members might suddenly play the role of a savior, then the role of a victim, then the role of the aggressor who blames the others. You don't take care enough of me. How comes you don't want to have your own family? Do you want to move out? Oh my God. So be very conscious about such roles. It's good to have compassion and empathy towards family members, but it can be also some sort of unconscious, unwilling manipulation and playing the guilty one, or I need to save them. Excellent transit for meditation at home, for spiritual practices at home, to build a little altar at home. Also, you can do some media and advertisement of property, of real estate, or do some online media or artistic work from home. Maybe you are a painter, dancer, maybe you work as a medium and you do consultations from home, photography as well. You might want to build, make yourself a dream board and use your imagination regarding the perfect home and family. You might need to deal this year with water supply or gas supply at home. Neptune in the 4th house of inner stability and emotions can make you oversensitive and over emotional. You might want to escape the reality by hiding at home or moving back in with your parents to feel more safe and secure. You might wander in your memories and dreams, so there can be this kind of bittersweet nostalgia. But all of this is just might be just an illusion, really. Some of you might be drawn to live in the nature or in some spiritual or isolated places like ashrams, monasteries, maybe islands, maybe visit more often some retreats or sanatoriums where you can heal. If Neptune squares your ascendant-descendant lines, it might unfortunately imply some deception or self-deception, sending the wrong signals or over-idealizing your partners. Neptune is a lot about projection, so you might expect the partner to be the ideal one, or they might project onto you their hopes, expectations, or fears. Again, there might be this playing the savior or the victim. You might take care of ill partner or partner with some addictions, but remember, unless you are a specialist, doctor or psychiatrist, psychologist, I believe we can't help people unless they want to help themselves and attend special clinics and specialists. Be aware and stay away from scandals, from gossips. You have to be, if you notice that Neptune squares your ascendant, descendant, you have to be as clear and honest as possible, because there might be a lot of misunderstandings and projections. In this sense, you see how good is that Saturn also enters into Pisces. So these two energies of Saturn and Neptune will soften each other. And Saturn can make you more discerning about home and relationships and make you face the uncomfortable truth. But at least it's not going to be as disappointing as after many years living in denial or illusion. If Neptune squares your sun, there might be this process of dissolving the ego. And if you are naturally more spiritual person and more compassionate, more ascetic, maybe then it's going to be a pleasant transit even. But for majority of us, it can be bringing more insecurities, feeling of being lost, a lack of focus, of goal, of motivation, of direction, of ambitions. You must be very well taking care of your health when Neptune squares your ascendant sun or moon. You might be more susceptible to flu, cold, intoxication, immune system problems, allergies as well. And be careful not to dwell in fantasies, to be escaping reality through some addictions or just like hiding away or through something pseudo spiritual. Okay, so just keep in touch with the reality, and I hope Saturn will make you help you make this reality check from time to time. And finally, if Neptune is squaring your moon, you can be very sensitive and emotional, very attuned to others' feelings, needs, emotions, like a radio that catches too many channels. So try to cleanse yourself, to ground yourself as often as you can. Spending time in the nature, yoga, and so on. It's good for praying, for finding your inspiration, for artistic self-expression, but don't fall for emotional manipulations, for feelings of paranoia, guilt, shame, self-delusions, and so on. Again, like the positive thing about this is finding meaning in spirituality, being charitable, compassionate, accepting the situation, releasing, letting go of negative emotions, of pain, believe, have this almost blind faith in the higher powers, that they care of us, that they protect us, that your ancestors care of you and protect you, and that everything goes as it should, and everything has higher meaning, and we can just relax and trust it. It's for our highest good. Okay. Then another important transit is actually quite historical one. Pluto, for the very first time since it was discovered in 1930, will move into Aquarius on the 23rd of March. For the last 15 years, Pluto moved through Capricorn, and the next 20 years, he will be moving through Aquarius. But because he's so slow, in 2023, he will reach just the 0 degree and 21 minutes of Aquarius. Then he will turn retrograde and get back to Capricorn to finish something here in the last 3 degrees of Capricorn. Nevertheless, these 2 months will be a good foretaste, a sneak peek in spring 2023 about what we can expect from Pluto in Aquarius in the next 20 years. Now, first, let's think about Pluto in Capricorn. What does this mean for you? Pluto is even more serious and deep planet than Saturn. Pluto wants to rebuild the reality to make it more fair, more stronger, but first he must destroy everything that is fake and superficial and built on based on fear. So your second house is about work and finances, and with Pluto here, it could be either that you felt constantly like on a volcano and there was no certainty regarding sources of income and the amount of this income. On the other hand, maybe you were presented the opportunities to work something Plutonian, like in a big business, big finances, bank system, corporations, something related to psychology or psychiatry, esoteric knowledge as well, maybe was giving you income as well. Secret services, the underground world, and so on. big business, really. Maybe you became your own boss, because it's hard whenever we have Pluto transiting a place. Talking about work, we are power hungry. We don't want to obey others. Actually, others might make us feel harassed, oppressed, insecure, controlled. There might have been power struggle at work or with financial advisors or financial institutions. Also, Pluto is very good about research. So maybe you were studying finances, you were researching the markets. Maybe this is what you do professionally. But very likely that Saturn was somehow making you face some inner fears of, let's say, lacking the material or physical safety, lacking food, lacking money and home and possessions. That's why you would overcompensate by overworking, burning out, overeating, or hoarding things at home. You know, Pluto is obsessive. He's like all or nothing. So either you worked very hard, or you were looking for the perfect job and there never was, or you had some eating disorders. It's possible as well. You were too dependent on someone who was giving you money, right? Either you were spending like that's the last day or on earth, or you were like super ascetic and thrifty. Unfortunately, Pluto is the extremes. And also Pluto might make you, in his last months in your second house, make you declutter, make you throw away everything that you are holding so desperately, like saving, like, oh my God, if I throw this, I will not survive. Yeah, survival instincts is Pluto. But be very reasonable about your diet. How do you take care of your body? With what objects you surround yourself? Maybe they're objects with negative energy. Let the energy flow in and out. Money is also energy. So you have to fix your attitude to money. If it was in your family that people were afraid of business, that politics was considered as something dirty, that being rich came with a big fear, yeah, maybe you have to do some constellations or regressions and check out your past lives or your ancestors' fears regarding body, self-image, material possessions, and money. With Pluto in the second house, you can have a big instinct and this smell for, for good money and for worthy things. Second house is the value, the worth of us and of things in life. So you can be a good financial advisor, or even advising people about their career and profession, like talent acquisition and HR, because you can sense who is good in what and where is the best deal, sales to buy something, yeah, the quality and the price of something, whether they correspond. Pluto in your second house teaches you to gain a very healthy, solid self-esteem that does not depend on what others think of you or how they treat you. You must know your own price. You must drop down the fears that someone will, well, you have to protect your body, right? And your personal physical boundaries. That's true, but not be afraid about your survival or about being vulnerable. You have to be very honest with yourself, and that would give you confidence. Yeah, honesty gives confidence, because the more you guard secrets or you guard yourself like in this emotional shell, then the more vulnerable you actually are. And go for it, go for the big money, big business, become your own boss. Yeah, because Pluto in the second can give you huge finances indeed, but it can be like these ups and downs, right? Because it's something kind of unstable. Maybe you will make money also from some funeral services or working with abused people, right? Something like these taboo topics in the society. And then Pluto goes into your third house, right, in Aquarius, and he will be transforming deeply your mindset, what you think about, how you think, how you process information, your style of communication, and with whom you communicate, especially on daily basis. Now, Pluto in the third, from a negative perspective, can make you manipulative. He can make you an excellent orator, speaker, teacher, business person, but you can just magnetically attract people and sell them whatever you wish. So again, it's very important to be honest and to be just convincing. Pluto will make you charismatic and convincing with your speech. Use it for good, really. Your local environment, immediate environment might change because you, let's say, move abroad or change the neighborhood, or there are new neighbors that come into your buildings. Relationships with relatives and siblings and colleagues changes. First, Pluto can act with fear, with control, with unfortunately, also there might be some harassment or abuse at school by teachers or by neighbors. There might be some predator or some stalker with Pluto in the third, in a very extreme cases. Of course, I don't want to frighten you, but be careful not to fall into dependency on these people, or not to destroy a relationship, let's say, with your siblings because they want too much from you, or they want you to take care of them or something like this. The good thing is that your thinking process, your ideas become very deep. You can be very focused, but don't go overboard to be obsessed with something, to have fixed ideas, to be paranoid about something, or to have this OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, about daily schedule, routine, environment, and so on, the little things. Yeah, the third house is when we're focused on the facts, on the little things. I mean, it's a good idea to have this fact checking. Maybe you will become an excellent researcher, explorer, investigator, journalist who will write only the truth, who will make some discoveries, because with Pluto in the third house, secrets come out on the surface through the news, through the media. So that's why I said it's good to be clear and honest with yourself, with your life, with your material possessions and achievements, to have this certainty, self-confidence, self-value, self-esteem, because then you can share this with other people. You can become an excellent coach, trainer, teacher. Pluto in the third house does not like small talks, just like Saturn in the third house. It's just very deep, serious, meaningful contacts and conversations. And you will sense when people lie to you. You will respect only the truth. There might be extreme and intense experiences on the road, so be careful from your side, at least, with the speed and following the road regulations and rules. You might study Plutonian topics like psychology, psychiatry, taboo topics, politics, finances, underground resources, maybe something like precious stones. Here with Pluto in the second house, you can invest in crystals, precious materials, gold, silver, opals, and so on. The goal of Pluto in the third house is for you to become confident in your intellect, in your verbal and mental skills, to become confident communicator. Maybe you'll have to heal some, how it's called, stuttering, right? When you can't speak properly, or when you're too distracted, Pluto will give you this laser focus. You might write something very impressive to other people, something touching. And yeah, self-control. Also, third house is the self-made wealth and business. So here your small business might become quite large. You might go online, go abroad, international, something related to logistics, vehicles, studies, education, media, trading, yeah, speaking, writing, blogging, modern technology, computer languages themselves, like translation, right? And so on. Maybe you'll establish your own business. Then let's discuss a couple of nicer, kind of easier transits, because of course every transit brings something more challenging and something more positive. At the end, there always will be some reward, of course, but definitely we have some benefic planets, and the big benefic is Jupiter. And till the 17th of May 2023, Jupiter goes through your 5th house. This is so lovely transit because Jupiter likes to have fun, likes to be in the spotlight, to be respected, admired, popular. He likes adventures. And 5th house is the things we do for fun. It's pleasure we receive in life through hobbies, through romance, and being like a child, right? Spontaneous, honest, self-confident. Wow, this transit really boosts your self-confidence and self-expression, showing off your talents and receiving the admiration of others for that. Your romantic appetite and life grows. You might meet people who are from abroad, foreigners, or very inspiring partner. You might have children. Jupiter in ancient astrology represents kids, or as well as spouses, husband. So here, relationship can grow into more serious commitment. You might feel proud of your partner, of your talents, of your children. You might have huge inspiration and make some large artistic and creative projects. And also they might turn into business. Here, Jupiter will help you also to establish your own occupation, your own business. Of course, Jupiter is also luck, and 5th house are all sort of competitions and speculative ventures and lottery, games of chance, and so on. So I am not exactly a supporter of those activities, but in case you decide to do this, or you are a professional poker player or something, then Jupiter will take you to some large, big international tournaments, and you most probably will have luck in them. But remember also, Saturn in 3rd house wants a serious preparation and practicing your skills, okay, to have the windfall. Then after the 17th of May, Jupiter goes into Taurus, thus expanding and enhancing 6th house topics for you. That means really proper good vitality, good care of your body, receiving pleasure from your routine. Maybe indeed you move abroad and you meet new colleagues, maybe they're foreigners, and you enjoy working with them. You're inspired. You are either inspirational manager yourself, or you have optimistic and inspiring colleagues and managers. So there can be a lot of work, yeah? Jupiter makes things grow and expand. Your work might give you rewards, prestige, recognition, acknowledgement. About health, yes, there might be healing. You might meet very famous doctors, professors. You might read about some medical system from abroad. Yeah, some medicine from exotic countries. And also you might travel somewhere, to a clinic, to a sanatorium, somewhere to heal. And be careful with gaining weight, because Jupiter can expand your body. You might be too self-indulgent, a bit more lazy in your daily routine. So don't forget exercises. And Jupiter rules the liver and the fats. So be careful with those things. You can become an expert, a mentor, like master in what you do. And you can study to improve your professional skills, like maybe some even requalification course. Maybe you quit the job you hated so far and you go to master some new skills, which will help you then build better career. Let's talk now a bit about the karmic lunar nodes. There you go, the north node that looks like a horseshoe. That's the point of development. That's the focus on something that helps us grow and evolve. And opposite is always the south node, which talks about releasing, letting go, maybe, taking some inspiration and with gratitude, but still don't stuck where the south node is. Actually, it's hugely important to analyze this axis of the north and south node in your natal chart. I love to do it on our natal chart analysis with my clients. I analyze the sign, the house, the aspects the nodes make to other planets, and this really shows the mission in life, the mission of your soul, like the luggage, the baggage with what you come here, the comfort zone, and what is exciting for you, what is calling you, but also it's a bit frightening, and where we must do the trial and error sequence before we find ourselves and become happy and satisfied. The nodes are transiting for 1.5 years each sign, always opposite each other, and they move most of the time in a retrograde motion. So on the 18th of July, the north node moves from Taurus into Aries, and respectively the south node will move from Scorpio into Libra. So you will develop for the next 1.5 years, dear Sagis, through having fun, through discovering and practicing and showing off your talents, through being childish, through following your ego desires, through flirting, through risking, through playing with kids or working with kids, right? Maybe you'll become a teacher. Maybe you'll have your own children, or maybe you'll become an uncle, an aunt, a godfather, godmother, but children will be present in your life. Art and creativity will be present in your life. But remember that, in the Vedic mythology, the North Node is called the head of the dragon. So it's always with expectation. It's insatiable. It wants to try everything, and then he might not like it. So you might be prone to change intimate partners, right? To fall in and out of love. So be wise and smart about this, not to hurt other people. Again, be very careful with risk investments and speculative ventures, because the North Node likes to take shortcuts. Yeah, you can become famous overnight. Suddenly people might discover you as a specialist, discover your talents, discover you as an artist, but oftentimes it's tricky, it's a bit too much, it comes with some illusions, so there also might be some self-deception. So I still would be careful when the North Node transits your 5th house to rush too much or to risk too much, but just enjoy yourself, enjoy life, and create something new. Your business might be about innovative technologies, modernization, new tools, new gadgets, something very exotic. Your partners might be foreigners from abroad, younger than you, more exotic. Your kids, when they go to school, they might be, seen by others as, because maybe you moved to the country and your child feels like the exotic element in the new country, especially if it's like a mixed race or something like this. So quite exciting, I would say. And the South Node in the 11th house talks about less consideration of groups and of others, what they want, what they think. You might not be part of a collective business or corporation. You might work for yourself and follow your own inspiration and desires. Wherever we have the nodes, the eclipses follow in these areas of life as well. I'll just now briefly mention the 4 eclipses we will have in 2023. That's a normal number of them. And then throughout the year, I hope to record more in-depth videos about each and every of them and every event I'm talking about here. So the first eclipse is a solar eclipse at 29 degrees Aries. It falls into your 5th house. It will be squaring Pluto in 0 degrees Aquarius. So wow, this will be a massive new beginning for you or your children. Maybe it will be about having kids. It will be about building a new business, having a new sources of income, changing your environment, having a new love, very profound, right? And so on. Then we have a lunar eclipse on the 5th of May at 14 degrees Scorpio, and that is your 12th house. 12th house is about endings. Lunar eclipse is about releasing, cleansing, purging, letting go. Maybe you will emigrate, go abroad, but certainly it's a chance to purify your subconsciousness, your emotions, let go of bad habits, and heal. Then we have a solar eclipse on the 14th of October at 21 degrees Libra. And here we're talking about solar eclipse, some new friends, new society, group of people, group projects. Finally, you get some payment for your career efforts, some acknowledgement, bonuses, prizes. And you might achieve one goal and dream in your life and start establish and start working towards achieving a new one. And finally, we have a lunar eclipse on the 28th of October at 5 degrees Taurus. That's your 6th house, another lunar eclipse of finishing, ending work projects, cooperation with colleagues, and also physical healing and establishing some new routine in life. Right. Okay, Venus, which usually travels 1 month through each sign, in 2023 will spend 4 months in Leo from the 6th of June till the 10th of October. Wow, and she will be so nicely enhancing your travels, your studies. You will receive pure pleasure from meeting people from abroad, discovering new cultures, learning, then maybe graduating, participating in beautiful and luxurious, fancy, glamorous social events, conferences, seminars, like gaining popularity, becoming acknowledged as an expert. Having followers, maybe you publish a book, become rich because of this, because Venus is also money, where we invest money and what we earn from. So it may be something educational, something related to the law, court cases might bring you some refund and wins, or it might be through tourism, international affairs, travels. For some of you, 9th house can mean second marriage with Venus here, fall in love with a foreigner or with a teacher, meeting a guru, an inspirational figure. Or if you study, it might be studies of finances, studies of aesthetics, beauty, art, something artistic, culinary, something about Venusian topics. Why Venus will be here so long? Well, because there is a period in which she will be retrograde in Leo, and that is between 23rd of July till the 4th of September. It's not a great time when Venus is retrograde to start new or to start impulsively some Venusian projects or topics, like starting a relationship, signing contract, doing some investments, buying something expensive, doing for the first time some plastic surgery or beauty procedure. In this case, in 9th house, be careful with spontaneous travels, or even if the travel was planned, especially something like a honeymoon, it still will go well, but with Venus retrograde, you might just be a bit more confused and spend more money than you expected, for instance. Or the best thing about Venus being retrograde is reassess, reevaluate, because Venus knows the value of things. But when she's retrograde, is more about this inner reassessment about, let's say, do you study what you want to study? Reevaluate your your own value system, your belief system, your faith, your direction in life, the meaning of life. Ninth house is a very deep house. It talks about setting goals and moving forward for them. It's the large picture, the big vision we have, that we maintain with faith and optimism, that helps us walk through life, grow and develop, gain knowledge, share knowledge. So maybe Venus will make you rethink your education. Maybe you will then, once she goes direct again, start second bachelor or second master degree, go for PhD, for instance. Or you will reassess whether you want to live abroad or not, whether you want to marry a foreigner or not. Do you want to study languages, right? Really, you can rethink your larger goals in life. What do you believe in? What brings you hope, faith, and optimism? Your moral code overall, and what's the most important and valuable and precious in life for you. You might go back to some countries where you have been already. You might meet again some old friends from abroad. You might finally finish this court case. You might finally finish these studies, right? So it's good time to end, to conclude, to finish, or to reignite, to re-establish while Venus is retrograde. Obviously, some routine procedures are also fine, like routine cosmetic procedures. If you buy something, then you can buy something that is secondhand, that is antique, that is recycled, for instance, and maybe that is coming from abroad. Right, Mercury will go retrograde 3 times in 2023. First time will be from the 21st of April till the 15th of May. It's going to be in Taurus, so you will be reassessing your work projects and daily routine and health habits. Then Mercury retrogrades from 23rd of August till the 15th of September in Virgo. That's your 10th house. So you might research the job market, apply for higher positions, renegotiate your work contract and agreements, or rethink your social status. And finally, from the 13th of December till the 1st of January, Mercury retrogrades from Capricorn into Sagittarius for a while. So 3 times he will be crossing the degrees from 22 till the 30th degree, the last degree of Sagittarius. Of course, if you have your sun, moon, or ascendant in this part of your zodiac sign, then Mercury will make you rethink, reassess, repair something, maybe gain some self-confidence, go through your budget, buying something, spending on something, meeting some people from the past, reevaluate your relationships and contracts, how you express yourself in the world, how do you start things. It's good time for planning, for finishing something old, and preparing for the new cycle. So you see, dear Sagittarius, this is how the year looks like for you. Notice that most of these slower planets are actually crossing your lower hemisphere, which talks about inner work, which talks about building your own inner foundations, make up your mind about something, make plans, securing your financial and material safety, take care of your health, of your work. Romantic life, of course, as well is on the spotlight, family and children. Yes, Venus is here in the 9th house, also trying to expand your horizons, change maybe your worldviews and outlook on life, but it's truly internal process, really, not yet you shining out there in the society and having some social achievements, more like arranging and ordering your inner space, like home and your thoughts and interests and work and health. So dear Sagittarius, yes, this was a general forecast. You see that I try to make it as personal as possible, but still I would like to point out, just briefly describe to you what kind of astrological services I offer as private consultations. There are just two of them, the natal chart analysis and the yearly forecast. And if you have not yet worked with astrologer, or if you have had a consultation with astrologer, but you like to experience different professionals, different points of view, then still I would recommend you starting with the natal chart analysis, because everything is inscribed in this natal chart. It's like a personal fingerprint of each of us. It's unique, really. And you see, you can, I believe you can see everything in the natal chart, but my approach to astrology is not fatalistic. I don't look into the future predicting people's marriages, divorces, parenting, illnesses, and what people will die from. It's possible to suggest it from the natal chart, but that's not my way of working with this magnificent tool called astrology. I like the psychological astrology. I'm a student of psychological astrology schools. So I believe the natal chart actually shows our own inner personality, character. It shows, yes, some life circumstances as well that most likely have had an impact on us and developed us as personality, as what we want, what we desire, what we attract to life, even subconsciously, what we love, what we want to reach, what we are afraid of, what are our inner blockages, and hence what we manifest in the world, right? So it's amazing how astrology can shed light onto your blind spot, right? Onto your subconsciousness, as Freud described it metaphorically as an iceberg. The person is an iceberg, and we see only the tip of the iceberg. Some 10% of us we know, we're familiar with. But then the rest 90% is submerged into the subconscious, and it's the inner wiring, as I call it. So astrology helps you look at it more carefully, understand why certain things happen to you in your life, what are your true desires, what's the mission of life according to your soul's wishes, right? Like what you're meant to live through as experiences, what they want to teach you, how is the best way to use them for your own growth and benefit. So that's the natal chart analysis. I do work on it 3 days. I'm preparing according to your data, the date, time, place of birth, and then we have a personal video Skype conversation. I prefer Skype because it's not limiting about the time of the conversation, and my consultation is usually of 2 hours. Also, I can share my screen, I can show you your natal chart, what I'm talking about, and all of this is recorded in Skype. Then the second type of service I offer is the yearly forecast. I focus on the 12 months ahead. Once you purchase it, it can be any time of the year, but some people truly prefer it when the new calendar year starts. But for me, it's even more logical to do this forecast when your birthday is approaching, so I can study and examine your personal natal new year. It's from one birthday to the next one. It's the so-called solar year, starting with your solar return. Again, I need at least 3 days to analyze several techniques. I use several astrological forecasting techniques. What I show you here in my videos is just the transits. That's very, very reliable and important tool, but there are other things like secondary, like profections, like directions, secondary progressions, zodiacal releasing, Fridaria, and so on. So I need some time to put it together, to give you the best overview with some details sometimes, with some suggestions. Again, I'm not imposing on you anything like you must, you have to, you will, you want. No, I just give the weather forecast, right? Like, for instance, it will be a rainy season from May till April. Now, if some people like rain and the circumstances in their life are such that they want to go and dance under the rain and maybe meet some soulmate who also dances under the rain, that's okay. But for other people, maybe this rainy season means that you finally have to repair your roof because there is a hole in your roof and you are in danger of inundation, of flood in your home. So for me, astrology is a tool to warn you, for warned, for armed, to give you advice, like what will be the general tendencies and how you can use them the best way possible for you. You can still go against the current of macrocosmos energies. You can still achieve what you want, but it will be with, let's say, double, triple effort, right? You can be sad. Sometimes some things happen and you don't know why they happen. And so astrology gives you some time frames and explanation of exactly why, when, for what is good, where to focus more, and how to pass this transit or time period more beneficially and smoothly. And yeah, then I deliver this as 10-page Word file. So we don't meet for a live consultation. It's delivered on paper. It's like a whole report, if you ask me. People print it. People highlight important moments there, dates with markers, something with color. And then you keep it with yourself and read it from time to time throughout all this period, all this 12 months. You might not gain even the full picture and understanding if you just read it once and then forget about it. It's very detailed, I believe. And you see, I do spend 4 days for kind of each case, each client. It's very customized, I believe, my service. So I leave in the description box here below the video my contacts so we can get in touch. And if you have some additional questions about my services or you would like to purchase them. Also, I leave below the video links to my Facebook and Instagram page if you would like to follow me in the social medias, where I post from time to time this short overview of what I'm talking about in my videos. My dear Sagittarius, I thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing, which really helps the channel. And in case you would like also financially to support me, my work, my channel, then I also leave in the description below the video my PayPal account. You can do it as well by clicking on a button which has a heart shape. Underneath the video, YouTube especially gives you the option to express gratitude, thanks, to donate something like from, I believe, €1 to much more, of course, but you do it through clicking on this button in the shape of a heart below the video. Well, I wish you a very beautiful, interesting, exciting year of 2023, dear Sagis. I know you like exploring adventures, you like feeling free, but this year might teach you also some responsibilities and thinking deeply about, is it worth settling? Where exactly? I hope you will be surrounded by faithful, loving people, friends, advisors, consultants, and so on, that you will share with them your goals, dreams, wishes, plans, ideas, and that the year will be truly abundant on positive energy and things for you. Stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.